Hello there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So in today's video I wanted to share with you yet another one of my favorite summertime recipes and also one of my favorite summer crafts to make, and that is jam. And so today I will be showing you how to make a very basic and very delicious strawberry jam. Making jam is something that I've enjoyed throughout my whole life, and I have such beautiful memories of my childhood where I remember watching and also helping my grandmother make all kinds of jam in the summertime. And I remember that she had an allotment where she lived, and she grew all kinds of berries and beautiful fruit trees. And so I remember very often in the summer going with her together to the allotment and picking all these wonderful berries and fruits and making such wonderful jam. And we would make all kinds of jam like raspberry jam, strawberry jam, apricot jam, and even rose petal jam, which I think was one of my favorites. And so today I'm very excited to share this video and this recipe with you. Now, this jam recipe is very simple, and all you will need is some fresh strawberries, some sugar and some lemon juice. I will be using a special jam sugar which has added pectin in it already, and I just find that this gives the nice consistency and the soft set of the jam that I really enjoy and that I prefer. But if you have just regular sugar, that is also absolutely fine. And of course there are all kinds of recipes out there that use less sugar, more sugar. Some recipes use powdered pectin and some use liquid pectin, and some don't use anything at all. So it is definitely a personal choice and what you prefer. But I have found that this recipe always works for me and always creates a really delicious jam. So this is the one I'm going to be sharing with you today, and I really hope that you enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. This recipe will make around 6 250 milliliter jars of jam. For this recipe, you will need around 2.4 kilograms of fresh strawberries, 1 kilogram of sugar, I'm using sugar with added pectin, and the juice of 1 lemon. You will also need some jars or containers to store your jam, and if you plan to also use the water bath method to can and preserve your jam, you will need to use proper heat-resistant jars for that. If you do wish to process your jars, you may also want to invest in a couple of useful bits of equipment, and these are very inexpensive but are incredibly helpful for the canning process. Begin by chopping up your strawberries in half into a large pot. Now add in the sugar, mix everything well and let the fruit sit for around 20 minutes. From here, place your pot onto a medium heat and add in the lemon juice. Stir everything together and let it come to a boil. Once the mixture is boiling, turn the heat lower and let it simmer until you see the mixture begin to thicken. This can take anything from 40 minutes to an hour. While the mixture is simmering, take a small plate and put it into the freezer, as this will help you later on to test if the jam has properly set. Now, if you do not plan to can and process your jars for further long-term storage, then you can simply wait for your jam to finish cooking. However, if you do wish to process your jars, then now would be a good time to sterilize them by either boiling them for around 10 minutes, or if you have a dishwasher, you could put them in for a short cycle as well. To test if your jam is thick enough, you can stir your spoon in the pot, and as you take it out, generally the jam shouldn't be runny and dripping quickly off the spoon, but instead should drip off much slower and have a sticky consistency, although of course it is also a personal preference and others may prefer a different consistency. Another way to test is to put a drop of jam onto your frozen plate and then to slightly nudge the jam with your finger, and if there is a wrinkly effect and it's not runny, then the jam is ready. Once you feel your jam is ready, keep it on the lowest heat for another 10 minutes, and during this time, put the lids of your canning jars to boil for 10 minutes to also sterilize them before use. You do not need to boil the jar rings though. And in this time, you can also prepare and lay out all of your jars and equipment ready for pouring. Make sure to place your warm jars onto a towel and not onto a cold surface. This will prevent any cracking. At this time, you can also put a pot of water to begin boiling whilst you prepare your jars, and place either a small rack or a towel onto the bottom of the pot, as this will prevent the jars from moving around too much and cracking. Pour the jam into the jars, leaving about a 1/4 inch space at the top of each jar, and if you have the measuring tool, you can use this to check and be sure. Ensure to wipe the rim of each jar with a towel so it's clean and not sticky, and put the lids and rings on. Now, place your jars carefully into your pot and make sure they are covered by around 2 inches of water. Let the pot come to a rolling boil, and when it does, start your timer for 10 minutes and let the jars process in the boiling time. Once your 10 minutes is up, turn off the heat and let the jars sit in the water for another 5 minutes to reacclimatize to the outside temperature. After this, remove your jars carefully from the pot, making sure to keep them upright in their original position, and place them onto a towel or chopping board. Leave your jars as they are for 24 hours to allow the lids to seal properly and create an airtight vacuum. You may hear the lids pop as they do this. After 24 hours has passed, you can remove the lid rings from the jars, and to check if the lids have sealed properly, firstly, there shouldn't be any popping sound from the top of the lid, and secondly, you can try to pick up the jar by the lid with just a couple of fingers, and it should feel secure and tight. If any of your jars didn't seal properly, you will need to simply store these in the fridge. And another important point is to not store your jars with the lid rings on, as this way you may not be able to see if a jar will lose its seal and isn't shelf stable anymore. If, like me, you also live in a place with hard water and not soft water, then you may find that your jars can be left with a chalky kind of residue after the boiling process. This is nothing to worry about, and a simple way to clean your jars off is to just wipe them with a little white vinegar, which solves the problem. Your jam is now ready, and if sealed properly, can potentially be shelf stable for 1 to 2 years, and once opened, simply store in the fridge. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you also try making some of your own jam this summer. It is such a fun little activity to do. And if you do make some, please let me know down below how it goes for you. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Bye guys.